Hello people, it's Friday. You know what that means, don't you? Hopefully I don't cough. Yeah, let's talk about the movies. Hope I don't mess this up. Anyway, the movies I watched this week. I watched a movie on TCM called Underworld, U.s.a. 20 years after he witnesses the murder of his father at the hands of 4 mobsters, gangsters, another word for gangsters. The man is bent on revenge. He works with the FBI to bring the criminals to justice before taking matters into his own hands. That's a film noir. That stars Cliff Robertson. And what year was that? See, I didn't even write the year down. I'll probably write the year down when I do the video. I forget sometimes to write the name down. Probably 56 or something like that, off the top of my head, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it gets a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't watch this one again. One time's okay for Underworld, USA. And on Saturday, it doesn't matter about the dates, I watched Jaws. You know Jaws, right? I watched Jaws. Now, Jaws, you gotta admit, Jaws is a fun movie, right? Shark eating people, shit like that, right? Everybody down at the beach. And, big lineups at the show. I guess even here in Toronto, although I never went to the show and seen Jaws. I didn't see Jaws till much later on down the road. But I don't own any of the other Jaws movies, and I guess in a roundabout way, as I always say that, roundabout way, I don't, I might, if I come across them kind of cheap maybe, I might, I might buy the second one or whatever, but I don't know if I will or not. It's just one of those things. I got the first one and I really liked that one, and I don't have the other ones. So anyway, Jaws, 1975, 45 years ago, people, you weren't going into the water, even here in Toronto. Even as Bobby Gass said, they didn't go into the water. But anyway, I gave it an 8. I always give it an 8. I give Jaws an 8 out of 10. Alright, what else did I watch? I watched... Now this is for... the next few movies are for Julie. Right? Julie. Let's talk about movies for her. She has a channel on YouTube. She's a young lady. And I subscribe to her. So if you punch in Julie, let's talk about movies, you'll see her, and she talks about her movies that she has. A very nice young lady. Alright, so... talked to her one day, finished the story, talking to her one day, John. She told me she watched 6 movies in one day, and I told her, I said, geez, I don't remember ever watching 6 movies in one day. I might have watched 4, maybe, a good day I might watch 4, maybe 5. Don't ever remember watching 6. So this past Tuesday, I watched 7. Just to see if I can do it. So Julie, let's talk about movies. There you go. So this little bit here, next few movies are for you, although you probably never heard of any of them. Well, okay, here we go. So I watched, Kill Bill, right? So I watched Kill Bill. But I'd already talked about that one. I watched Kill Bill. Everybody knows Kill Bill, right? So there's not much to talk about this one. Uma Thurman, right? And David Carradine. Yeah, she's a bride. In the beginning of the movie, she's the bride, and Bill shows up and wishes her luck, and next thing you know, all hell breaks loose and machine guns are going off, and she gets shot in the head, and she's in the hospital for 4 years. She wakes up and she goes on a mission to go kill a few people, and she gets this nice sword and she starts walking the shit out of everybody. Nice movie. I love it. Gets an 8. Gets an 8, Log. Gets an 8. All right, here we go with those movies I was talking about for Julie. All right, so it's Philo Vance character. Paul Lucas plays the character in this movie. There's been a few Philo Vance movies. He's a detective kind of guy, right? So the casino murder case. A whodunit? Who did it? Murders in a rich old lady's house. There's a lady that lives in a big old house, and a couple of people get murdered in it, and Philo Vance, you know, plus the police and stuff, you know, try to find out how these guys got killed. So I gave that a 7 out of 10, and it's from 1935, and it's called The Casino Murder Case. Paul Lucas. All right, now what else did I watch? I watched, oh yeah, Rosalind Russell was in that movie too, and Donald Cook gets a 7, 1935. Bright Lights. Bright Lights. It's from 1935. Stars Anne Dvorak, D-V-O-R-A-K. I butcher everybody's name. And Joe E. Brown. He's the guy with the big mouth. I don't know if some of you know him, but he always opens up his mouth, you know. But anyway, it's a story of a husband and a wife team, and I'm pretty sure they're in vaudeville, you know, on stage and stuff and doing acts and things like that. Anyway, they get separated, and he gets a little, hope I'm telling this story, he gets a little bit more, well known, let's put it that way. You know, he gets more of a chance to do things, right? And all that. And she's, you know, on the side stage and home and do whatever. But, you know, he's becoming famous. So, he makes it big and she doesn't. So what happens? Well, you know, you're going to have to watch the movie to find out. But I really wouldn't recommend it. And, you know, I give it a 5 out of 10. So, it's called Bright Lights, 1935, yeah. Joe E. Brown. And now the other one I watched was, yeah, that's Bright Lights right there. And the other one I watched was The Garden Murder Case. Yeah, this is another Philo Vance detective story. There's books, they had books on this character back in the 30s, I guess, or 20s or stuff. Edmund Lowe, the actor, is another actor playing this part, right? So he's playing Philo Vance. Virginia Bruce is in it, Benita Hume, and Douglas Watson, right? So there's a story, takes place in a house again, and it's a guy, you know, people get murdered. They're acting kind of funny and strange. They talk kind of weird, you know. I'm going out. Where are you going? I'm going out. What are you going out for? I'm going to kill myself. It's like, what? So, you know, the girl goes out, catches a bus, falls off the top of the bus, lands on the street. I presume a car ran over her and she killed herself. So it's like, well, people do that, you know. So it's like who done it, and Philo Vance tries to find out who's the character, right? So there's some guy in this movie that's hypnotizing people, right? So, yeah, that one gets a 6. 1936, The Garden Murder Case, 1936. 6 out of 10, of course. And another one was Ever Since Eve, 1937. Marion Davis, which was her last movie, her last film. Robert Montgomery. Now, Marion Davis in this movie, she's a pretty nice looking girl, right? So she gets jobs as secretary, say for instance, right? And she's very, very pretty. So, you know, the men, right? You know, the pigs, they are, right? They kind of hit her up and want her to stay late, you know, after work and shit like that, right? So she doesn't do it, she quits, right? So she comes to a conclusion that she's going to dress up frumpy looking, you know, a long skirt, fluffy coats, you know, the hair all slicked back, glasses, big glasses. And she gets a job. She gets a job working for Robert Montgomery. He's a storyteller. You know, he tells stories and she has to take dictation and... yeah, so that's Ever Since Eve. Yeah, Davis makes herself homey looking to get a job, all right? because she's always harassed by these pigs, these men. So that gets a 4. A big 4 out of 10. Yeah. Alright, then what else did I watch? The Flame Within, 1935, starring Anne Harden and Maureen O'Sullivan. Anne Harden, nice looking lady with blonde hair, I've seen her in a few other movies, is a psychiatrist who falls in love with her patient, despite the fact that it would never succeed. One thing you're not supposed to do, right? As we all know, you're not supposed to fall in love with your patient. Yeah, don't do that. So how does that work out to the end of the movie? Oh well, you're going to have to watch it, but you probably won't want to see it. It's alright, no big smell, no big deal, but it gets 4 out of a 10. Now this is me, my own opinions and everything when I watch these movies. A 4 is like, a 4 is a ho-hum movie, right? You watch the whole thing, but you get the ho-hum and, you know, stuff like that. Alright. So yeah, The Flame Within, 1935, gets a 4. Right, alright, here else. Did I already talk about, yeah. Ever Since Eve, that's that one. And The Flame Within is this one. It gets, 1935, Maureen O'Sullivan. And then the other one was The Good Fairy from 1935. That stars Margaret Sullivan, Herbert Marshall, and Frank Morgan. Right? Sullivan wants to be a good fairy for Herbert Marshall. He's a lawyer. Movie starts off with all these young girls. They must be in a home for young girls. They're in there doing dishes, mopping floors, cleaning up, and whatever, iron, the whole 9 yards. Back in 1935, I guess that's what they did in Home for Girls. Anyway, this guy shows up and he wants a girl to be an usher in his theater, right? He's only got one size uniform, right? So he has to get a girl to fit this uniform. So I don't know how old, Margaret Sullivan is, but I guess she fits the uniform. And I guess she has to be at least, I don't know, how old are you when you get out of girls' school, like Holmes, 18? Anyway, she gets a job in this place, and then she meets up with a waiter, and then she meets up with Frank Morgan. And he's an old man, dirty old man. And then he says he wants to be, give her money and all this stuff, and she could be a good fairy. And so she doesn't understand any of this stuff, right? Because she just got out of the Home for Girls. She doesn't know anything. She's stupid. Or I shouldn't say stupid, that's not the right word. Naive in the world, because she's never been in the world. So this Frank Morgan guy, she picks a name out of a telephone book. Frank Morgan gives this guy $10,000, $100,000 anyway, because he's rich. And it's all right, but it's kind of like directed by William Wyler. So it's not a bad movie, right? So it gets a 6 out of 10, 1935. Hope I explained all that right. Sometimes I do a good job, sometimes I don't. And the other movie I watched for the 7th movie that day, Julie, I watched, there's The Good Fairy, 1935. I watched Kill Bill 2. Yeah, Kill Bill 2. This is good too. This is another, an 8. Kill Bill 2, 2004. Irma Thurman, yeah, and everybody else. This is a fun movie. Stabbing and killing and shooting and stabbing and killing and shooting and swords, and it's a great time. Alright, so it gets an 8 out of 10. What else did I watch? Oh yeah, I watched Captain America, Winter Soldier, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, 2014. The Winter Soldier's Bucky, as far as I know. And he's got a real powerful arm, like a robot arm. Yeah, so I think he doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know Captain America or his buddy. He's an assassin. He kills people, right? So, I mean, some of these movies, like the Marvel movies, some of the things that happen in Marvel movies, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. But some of the things that happen in Marvel movies, I didn't know they changed everything around for me. Not that I don't like it, take it the wrong way, but Bucky being, the Winter Soldier and stuff, you know, I mean, I've seen this movie a couple times over the years. But the story's all right, but sometimes things in movies, it's hard to believe, you know, it's hard to fathom things that you know so much about from like the old days, because I'm old, right? And Captain America got frozen in the, lake and the water and all that stuff. But as far as I understood, Bucky died, right? He never did come back, but I guess in these Marvel movies he does or did or whatever. So, I mean, it's a good story. Don't get me wrong. I give it an 8. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave it an 8. And the other one, this one I just got, I got this last week or something, right? Got it from Amazon. I think I showed you this from last week, another video. Arachnophobia. It's about spiders, right? If you don't like spiders, don't watch this movie. And it's got John Goodman in it too, right? He's the pest guy. He controls the pest. He walks in with 2 guns blazing, or what is it? Those things that, see, you can see him there, right? Can you see him? Yeah, he walks in and starts squirting all the bugs, spiders and stuff. But this is hilarious. It's Jeff Daniels, 1990, Julian Sands. Doctor, he moves into a small town and take over from an old doctor. The old doctor changes his mind, right? Anyway, so it has to do with spiders. These spiders that came from, well, Africa, for instance, right? And one guy dies and they ship him home. The spider's in with him. And the spider goes into the barn and starts making a gigantic friggin' spider web. Anyway, people start getting bit by the spider, and there's a real good scene in it when the Goddard, where what's his name? I forget his name now. But they're sitting on the couch, right? And they're watching, I think, a TV show or something, dollars, or I don't know. But they're both sitting there munching on popcorn, eh? And there's spiders in the popcorn, and they're chowing down on the popcorn. Oh man, is that ever creepy? That scene, I mean, there's a lot of creepy scenes, but that one, that was real creepy. Arachnophobia. What did I give that? Oh man, I gave that an 8. That's so much fun. Yeah. All right, let's see what else I did. Oh. Let's see. Terminator, Genisys. From this set, I bought that this last week too, right? From Amazon, right? So the first one I watched out of here was Terminator, Genisys. I think I have this movie somewhere over there in the pile. But anyway, yeah, 2015? Yeah, 2015. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Emily Clark. Well, you know, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Although I think I saw it before. Kind of reminds me of another movie I saw. Yeah, let's go back in time. Right? So, you know, they go back in time, and after some of these movies, to tell you the truth, some of these movies get a little confusing, right? For an old guy like myself. I'm not that bad. I'm not that old. But yeah, this movie's all right. What did I give it? I gave it a 7. It's okay. It's just that it seems like I saw it before. So, but I gave it a 7 because it's a good watch. There's a lot of good things in it. For me, you know, I'm saying my opinion, that it's all right. But maybe Emily Clark, even though she's a good actor, she's a good looking little girl and lady, I guess. But I don't know. She just didn't seem to fit that part. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Don't get upset at anybody. But yeah, it's a good movie. I give it a 7 out of a 10. Right? And because Ian, my buddy over there in Wales, he's on a James Bond thing. Some of the grumpy old gentlemen are on a James Bond thing. Well, Ian from Wales over there, he's talking about this movie, Octopussy. So he's telling me, he's telling the story about Octopussy. He did a real good job in telling the story. So if you want to, find out about this more than I'm talking about, we'll go to Ian's channel and check out Octopussy, right? So this is James Bond, 1983. Yeah, Maud Adams. Yeah, James Bond. He gets to fly in an airplane, swoops around and stuff like that. It's fun. He gets to run around through the jungle, and he comes up across, I think it was a tiger in the jungle, and he goes, shoo, shoo, go away, shoo, shoo. Tiger goes away. He continues running through the jungle. I thought that was cute. Anyway, there's elephants and people shooting at them, and oh, it's a fun. But hey, mostly all the James Bond movies are fun to watch. I mean, I think I'm missing maybe 2 of them. I haven't really looked lately. I think I'm missing 2. I have to look and see again. But yeah, James Bond, Octopussy. It's a good, fun movie. It gets a 7. Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10, 1983. Yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed that. That's the movies that I watched this week. All right, people. I'll talk to you next week. And I also, this afternoon, Friday, I went down with my daughter Kelly and I picked up a new phone. Yeah, I'm right proud of myself. I got a new phone now. I can chat and talk with people. So there you go. So now Bob's going to be watching some more movies this week, and he'll be talking about them again next week. So there you go. Julie? How you doing, Julie? All right, people. Stay safe.